Appreciate you a lot. Jason, what's up, man? Appreciate you. It's the 2-year anniversary of our party, the American Communist Party. And I just been thinking. I've been reflecting, meditating, if you will. No, seriously, I have been. I'm getting quite old. I have been getting quite old. And I'm reflecting upon my life, reflecting upon my place here, reflecting upon what this means for me, why I'm here, why I'm doing this. And before I get into this topic, guys, the Marxism conference that's going to be in Chicago, if you plan on attending that, get your tickets now. Because, get them now. Don't do it at the last minute. It's going to be in Chicago, September 4th to 5th. I'll put the link in the Discord. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and today I spent a lot of the day reflecting on what they call in Shia Islam, Ahlul Bayt, which refers to the family of the Prophet who were massacred and killed by people that call themselves Muslims. And I've been reflecting and thinking a lot today about that. I've been thinking about why I'm doing this over the past few days, and frankly, what's been going on is purely a coincidence, probably. Or maybe the feds are, watching me, or maybe they have some kind of way to track me. And they decided that by amping up the heat against the ACP, maybe that would break me or something, but they're just mistaken. They just are they're just a little bit confused about where I'm at in terms of my headspace. I mean, it's not even because of this stuff, this outrage about the ACP, which has its source in literally nothing. Well, I'll talk about it, but don't worry. Just a coincidence of timing. It's just interesting, I've been in a certain headspace of reflection. I first want to, eliminate certain explanations for why I might be here. I don't need this. I mean, I could find a way to make a lot more money than this. So it's not for money. It's really not. I don't need this to make a living. There are many opportunities available to me, provided I focused on them alone and neglected all of this. So I'm not here because I want money. And then I think about, am I here for validation? Am I here for popularity? Am I here to be liked, to be loved? Well, I don't get that. On the contrary, I think I get overwhelmingly majority. I get hatred. I get bitterness. I get people who have some problem with me, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me, but I'm just saying, it's I'm not here because I want something social. I'm not here because I want social recognition. I mean, for that, I just would need to have a wife, which is not difficult for me at all. And have a family, have kids. I mean, that's all I would need, So I think about that. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to be liked. I'm not here to be loved. And I'm not here for money. So why am I here? Think about it. Why? I mean, why am I here? I think about it a lot. Why am I here? Why do I endure this? Why do I endure this insanity? The American Communist Party. We're all seeing in our algorithm a huge volume of random hate mobs against the American Communist Party, but what are they based in? Literally nothing. Just constant. Every single day for the past week. Logo pointed out the real reason, of course. I mean, we know the reason rationally, which the reason is because the midterms are coming up, and every time this happens, we take the heat, right? Gerald, what's up? But why endure all of this falsehood? Why live a life where you're just lied about? Why do this? What's the point? I could live a normal, decent life, and I don't need this. I don't need it. I don't depend on it in the sense of I need it for money or I need it to be liked. I need it for the popularity. That doesn't mean anything to me. Truly, it means nothing to me. Truly, it means nothing to me. So why? It's a profound form of abuse, what we endure. The American Communist Party receives all of this negative attention. But there's no reason for the negative attention that has anything to do with principle. For example, they say because they think we're fascists, even if they were correct, which they're not. If fascism bothers them so much, why is it okay? Why do you turn a blind eye to fascists in your own ranks who attack us? Why do you turn a blind eye on matters of principle to the issue of the support for the Ukrainian Nazis? Where is the guilt by association here? They say a bunch of other things. They mention things about Andrew Tate because Jackson said something nice about Andrew Tate. But you have a child pornographer in your own ranks who you turn a blind eye to. It's like everyone knows this guy was selling child porn to children, and they're just okay with it. Clearly that doesn't bother you. Nothing bothers you. There's no anything they say, anything they petition their grievances with to attack us with. It's not based in anything. Even if we were bigots, if bigotry bothered you so much, why do you excuse it in your own ranks against us? I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to point out facts. It's not rooted in any. It's not as though we're guilty of something. Whenever people tell you it's because of X, Y, and Z, no, it's not. If this was such a problem for these people, they would not be so willing to excuse it when it's used against us. And I'm not saying that to whine and complain. I'm saying it because you should have an awareness of why you're being attacked, why we're enduring this and going through it. Why do we have to see all of this nonsense? Why do we do so much good in the world, and yet we're given this overwhelming response of hatred, and it's real, genuine hatred. These people mean us harm. They want to see us dead. They genuinely concentrate all of their inner hatred against us more than they do the government, more than they do anything else, more than the far right, more than anything. It's us that they hate. And you should think about the reason for why that is. I mean, and so we can rule out that the reason has anything to do with ideological disagreement, because there's plenty of ideological disagreement in the ranks of our enemies, and yet they have an implicit understanding that those things can be mediated through civil disagreement, provided that they're all on the same page that they're attacking us. They don't have principles. So what's the reason? Smallness, pettiness. That's a huge part of it. A lot of this stuff is led by ex-members of our community, ex-members of Infrared or ACP or something, and they're just bitter. They're bitter about the social implications of what happened to them. They're bitter about losing their friends. It has nothing to do with ideas or principles. It's just bitterness. It's pettiness. It's smallness. That's for a lot of the most aggressive people who lead the charge on this, by the way. But for others, it's something more fundamental. It's the audacity of having sincere belief and wanting to actually... The audacity. How dare you? How dare you be a communist? I mean, we call ourselves communists. We've made communism our entire identity. But to actually be communist, how dare you? How dare you ruin it for us? How dare you spoil it for us? Because communism was never something they believed in. It was a language to articulate their suffering. For the majority of people in the West, communism is quite literally the opium of the masses. It's just a way to articulate grievance and suffering and resentment and bitterness and anger. And it's a way to cope with that. And so how dare we actually believe in it? How dare we actually take it seriously? It's not meant to take seriously. It's meant to be an excuse with which you continuously protest and whine at the world. And how dare you? How dare you if you cease your whining and cease your crying and try to do something? You're a LARPer. How dare you? In any case, I'm just trying to give you an idea, first by ruling things out of why you're in this situation as the American Communist Party. But for me, let's talk about me. Why am I here? For what? What's the purpose for me? Do I get anything out of this? By way of wealth? By way of social incentives? No, nothing. So why did I put myself in this crazy situation? Like, why am I doing this? For what? Well, this is what I've been thinking about. And what I think is each and every one of us, all men and women, all humanity, has a stranger within them. This stranger has no identity. This stranger has no label, has no ethnicity, has no religion, has no anything, has nothing that can distinguish them from another. And the way we live in this world and cope with its contradictions and its injustices is we put a face on that stranger. And we deny the stranger within us in order to project it upon others and say, this person is the problem. This type of person is the issue. Hatred, bitterness toward your fellow man and woman. Because you are unwilling to confront the stranger inside of yourself and accept that within yourself is a stranger, fundamentally unknowable to you or anyone. And the reason I'm here and the reason I'm doing this is because I refuse to betray the stranger within myself. I refuse to say, I am better. I refuse to say, I don't need this. I refuse to say, I am better than the stranger within myself and within others. I refuse to mount myself on any pedestal that raises myself above others. Because it's falsehood. Because it's cope. I'm here for the stranger. You, all of you, those that give me your hatred, those that give me your support, those that give me your mockery, all of it. I'm only here for you. And that's it. And so I reflect upon the paradox of the fact that ultimately, I am here for the very people that hurl so much hatred and abuse upon us online. Ultimately, I'm only here for them. If I gave up on these people, then I would give up on all of you. And I would give up on all of this Because how can we say that we're better when the same evil and the same falsehood and the same wickedness is within each and every one of us? And if I'm not here to show people that there's a way out, that there's a way to struggle, to have jihad, internal jihad, against this wickedness, against this evil, against this falsehood within each and every one of us, someone has to be here to show this generation that there's a way out, that there's a way to do this. And they will challenge you, and they challenge me, and everything I'm involved with, in order to prove something. In order to prove what? No, there's no way out. I'm going to prove to you, Haas, there's no way out. You need to be dragged down with me. You need to be dragged down with me in my pit of misery and suffering, so you can see it's impossible to escape. My message for these people: you're so mistaken. I have always been there with you this whole time. You're not dragging me down into the pit with you. I have always been in that pit. I am here. I've always been here. I've never, ever raised myself above it and looked down at you. I don't lower myself to you to argue with you and to debate with you. I was never above you. Just as you aren't above anyone. No one is above anyone. We are here together, suffering through and experiencing the same exact thing. Everyone is this stranger within themselves that doesn't have an identity at all. Doesn't have a face, doesn't have an identity, doesn't have anything that distinguishes themselves from another. And that's the truth of it. The Sufis called this interiority within the self the luminous black, the black heart in the depths, the black light in the depths of your heart. This is the Jesus within you. The luminous black is associated with the prophet Jesus. And why? Because the luminous black is the complete annihilation of everything that distinguishes you and your selfhood. The complete annihilation of the self in the other, in the stranger, and in God. It's one thing to make fun of all of these transgenders and all these people. But this is our generation. This is who we are. This is what our generation is experiencing and enduring. I've never considered myself superior to the transgenders. If I must, I will suffer with them. If I must. I'm not above them. You're not above them. None of us are. there's a single part of the stranger within ourselves and in others that is fundamentally condemned, then each and every one of us is likewise condemned. Each and every one of us is likewise condemned. And there's no salvation and there's no hope for us. You think we'll achieve victory by claiming we're better and superior to others? We won't. You're as low as anyone. You can't raise yourself up as superior to anyone. Ultimately, you can't. They might be odd, they might be strange. Many of you were very odd and strange before you found this movement. Many of you remain quite odd and quite strange. But here we are. I think for the first time, it's not only that I'm unaffected, I haven't been affected by this, anti-ACP shit for years, but I'm just indifferent to it. I'm just indifferent to it. I see it and people think it's a crisis. They tell me, Haas, this is, but I just see it as so small. I just see it as so meaningless. The Sufis have a tendency to cross over with Shi'ism, especially in the post-Timurid period. It just became very common in the Sufi tradition. I mean, that's very broad. But in many Sufi traditions, the development of an understanding of Shi'ism and the Shia path just emerges kind of spontaneously. I want to tell you about the story of Ali, the Lion of God, Haydar. He was called the Lion of God because he was a warrior. Because with his sword, Zulfikar, he would decapitate and disembowel the enemies of Islam and the faith. He absolutely affected a brutality, strength. He was a warrior. He fought. But what is the content of the struggle? Well, I'll tell you a story about Imam Ali. The story goes that he was fighting one of these pagan tribes. And he was fighting a pagan warrior, And he defeated this man, right? He knocks him to the ground. And he raises up his sword, the Zulfikar, ready to kill him. And as he raises his sword, the man spits in his face. And Ali drops his sword and walks away. And when questioned why he didn't kill this man, he said, because were I to kill him in that moment, I would have done so because of his insult toward me. And it would not have been on behalf of God and the jihad and the cause. It would have been on behalf of my own small, vain anger toward this person who insulted me. We need to be a community of warriors. But if there's even a single ounce of smallness and pettiness that takes hold of you in the process, let go of your sword and walk in the other direction. We're not here to effect revenge against the slights committed against us personally. Let go of this revenge within you, this smallness, this pettiness within you. Means nothing, and life is short. We fight for this cause. We fight for this truth. We fight so that in this world and in this country, we can carve out a space of hope for a generation that is fundamentally in a state of abandon and ruin and neglect. We live in the time of Zoroaster before he came. The worship of idols, blood gods, turmoil, moral decay, moral anarchy, moral disarray, a complete discombobulation between right and wrong. The world that's in disarray is the Iranic world, the world which lacks what they called, or what they in English translated as, the divine kingship, the divine moral leadership associated with the tradition of the Persian imperial dynastic tradition, which was never about the rule of an individual or a hereditary monarchy per se, but an authority, a worldly political authority associated with the utmost cosmological and moral authority here on earth. And that is what's missing. That is what we don't have. We don't have a leadership. How can we expect anything except rottenness and degeneracy and decay among people when the leadership of humanity is characterized by evil and falsehood? If anyone's here because of pettiness, because of smallness, I don't want you here. I don't need this. I don't need smallness. I don't need pettiness. I don't need egotism. You don't need it either. If what you seek is some purely personal fulfillment, don't come looking for it here. Go live a peaceful life. Peace is what you should seek. Peace. Internal peace. Before anything, seek internal peace. And once you've sought, and once you've achieved this internal peace, only then are you ready for this movement. I have the internal peace that I need. I don't have any bitterness, resentment, or hatred toward my fellow man or woman at all. I am here with that as my premise and my foundation. And the only people who should be here are those who likewise have this foundation of inner peace. The masses suffer, but they don't suffer as a resentful, bitter, hateful individual. The masses suffer in silence. They suffer corrosion. They suffer at the unconscious. They don't even see it. They're dying. They're being poisoned. Their life force, their will, Their morale is chipped away slowly and slowly with small sufferings that the good people of this nation and almost all nations endure. They endure gracefully, innocently. I think about Twin Peaks: The Return, when he filmed that trailer park with all those kind and decent people in that trailer park, you know, and then there was someone who was going to go donate their blood for money. And the guy's like, no, I don't do that. You know, it's wrong. But that's the suffering of the masses endure their suffering with a smile. Because individually they seek inner peace. And every time they go through this suffering, the real oppression, the real economic hardship and suffering, it's just killing their spirit slowly and slowly, bit by bit. And they endure it. And they endure it. But our generation is infected with a disease. A suicidal disease. Envy, resentment, hatred, bitterness. It's all vain. It's all vain. It's all vain. You can tell me a million things about how hard your life is. A million different things about how hard it is. It's never an excuse. It's never an excuse to persecute and oppress the stranger within yourself and within others. People are angry. No one connects more with that anger more than I do. But fundamentally, within the core of your being, you cannot be angry. You just can't. You need to make peace and accept this world for what it is. And only once you do that can you call yourself a revolutionary. Only once you stand firm on a foundation based in inner and outer peace, completion, can you finally, for the first time in your life, scrutinize the powers that be. Let them be the transgressors. Let them be the angry ones. Let them be the vain ones. Let them have to cross the fucking line. You draw your line and you never cross it. The line is drawn here. Let them cross it. Let the burden on them to show themselves. For the monsters that they are. And you stand firm. You plant your feet on the ground with dignity, with inner peace, with completion, with nobility. And put the burden of transgression on them. Put the burden of wickedness on the wicked rulers of this nation and of this world. Ayatollah Khamenei was at war with some of the most wicked and evil powers that have ever existed in history. And he spent his time gardening, praying and gardening with a smile on his face. Rabbi, I appreciate you, man. And when he was killed, he had a smile on his face. Even while he was killed. Sai, appreciate you, man. Thank you. As I age, I'm not going to be, I refuse. May I be riddled with bullets before I become one of these embittered millennials. May I be riddled with bullets before I become like them. Bitter and resentful for the rest of my life. No. Like Khamenei, I'll meditate and I'll pray. To be delivered from the continuous falsehood of this world, to endure its tests, its many, many tests. Being a revolutionary doesn't mean whining and complaining at the world. Being a revolutionary means giving way to the revolution already at hand and recognizing that those who obstruct this revolution are the transgressors. Revolution belongs to the province of God and of nature. Revolution is the law of the cosmos. The world we live in, undergoes continuous physical, cosmological revolution. The very ground underneath our feet would not exist were it not for the revolutions burrowed deep under the surface of the earth. The mantle, the core, geology is continuous revolutionary cycles. And your very metabolism, your very body, within it, continuous revolution. Your cells continuously reproduce themselves. Your entire life is a cycle. And if you have kids, you're part of a revolutionary cycle through generational change. So revolution within civilization and within politics is no different. To be at peace means to be at peace with revolution. Justice is not affected on earth by crying and coping. Justice is affected on earth when you accept the justice already underway. That's the objective and the real thing. Don't be the one coping. Let the rulers cope. Let them be thrown into existential doubt and angst and inner turmoil. It's not the revolutionary who should have psychological turmoil. It's the regime that should have psychological turmoil. It's not the revolutionary who should be mentally unwell. It should be the regime that loses its mind, as it is unable to cope with the reality it has lost touch with. Sabi, what's up? This is the essence of the principle of self-defense. You go to war because you love peace. You go to war because you love peace. And whatever the price of peace is, you take it. There is nothing more than the inner peace and the outer peace. To be aligned with heaven, to be aligned with the cosmos, to live a right life. to live a life in harmony with the real premises and conditions of your existence. That's what all of this is about. And that's what peace means. Wage war on those who disturb your peace. They cross the line, not you. You don't seek out turmoil. You don't seek out conflict. You fight with all of your ferocity the right to wage the war within yourself. The inner jihad. That's what we're fighting for. The breathing room. The space to wage the inner jihad. All the corruption and evil of our enemies is within us too. And the noblest war, the most important war, is to struggle with the wickedness and the evil within. The Soviet Union loved peace, treasured peace, valued peace. Stalin, socialist construction was the most precious thing in the world. This process of transformation of the society, of the man, of the woman. This was an internal jihad. This was an internal struggle. And when the Nazis invaded the USSR, they fought with all of the ferocity, all of the aggression, all of their might, out of love for that peace. To be back on track, to wage the inner jihad. In China, for 10 years, they waged inner jihad in an event known to us as the Cultural Revolution. And for Mao, that was the most precious struggle of all. Mila, thank you so much. When you all argue with Maddleton Pendleton and you post her stupid hair and all this stuff, why are you angry? Why are you bitter? Why do you show bitterness and smallness and pettiness? They should be the bitter one. They should be the petty one, not you. Someone has strange hair. So what? In fact, there's people in our party with such hair, with such presentation. So what? So what? Who are you to judge? You have to be like Ali. When they spit in your face, you know who's like that is Volk Vulture. I've never seen Volk Vulture respond even one time to a personal attack. Every single time he's in an argument, and they say, Volk, you're stupid. He goes, so what did Stalin say? He focuses directly on the content of the debate and the disagreement, and he locks in. If we debate and we struggle over principle, let us focus on that. You focus. What is the struggle about? What is it for? What principle is at stake? Focus, focus, focus. Lock the fuck in. Lock the fuck in. You need to fight for the truth. You need to fight for the truth. You need to fight. You need to fight. You need to raise up the truth everywhere that they spread lies. But do so with dignity. I'm not moralizing. I'm not telling you I'm upset about bad words or something. I'm not simply telling you to be morally pretentious, because that's another form of pretentiousness and a false, vain sense of superiority over others. Well, I'm going to take the moral high ground. There's no high ground. We are all in the same pit. You must be a lion. You must fight and you must struggle. But do so on the basis of what matters. On the basis of what matters. On the basis of what's at stake. What matters. What is it for? It's not about the moral high ground. It's about devotion and focus and dedication and locking in. Don't assume good faith from these people. So many of you argue with them in such a way, and then they take you out of context to say X, Y, and Z. What happened to responding with Allah, Cosmos, Xi Jinping? Simply, Allah, Cosmos, Xi Jinping. Be unfazed. When the enemy is bad faith, respond to them with Allah, Cosmos, Xi Jinping. Anyone who wants to argue or debate about anything knows what door to knock on. Mine. If they wanted to argue with you about any matter of principle and theory, they know who to go to. And if you want to argue with them, sure, argue. But if someone has spent 2 years attacking us every single day of their life, don't assume good faith from them. Don't assume that they're a good faith actor. If someone clearly has motivations against us that are rooted in pettiness and smallness and egotism, because they were scorned socially, because their feelings and ego wasn't fulfilled and satisfied in our movement, don't assume good faith from them. Argue with people who actually do care about the principles and the theory. The others, they're just trying to bait you. They're trying to trick you into saying or holding a position you don't have. They're playing tricks. They're saying, so logically X, Y, and Z, and then in bad faith, they draw up all of these equivalences and they corner you into a position where accidentally you may yield on something that doesn't actually reflect your position. So these are the types of tricks they play. Someone who wants to argue about theory can argue about theory. Someone who's trying to trick you into a position you don't have is not a good faith actor. And someone who dedicates their entire life every aching day to crying about us, not a good faith actor. The reason they have a problem with us is rooted in something way more fundamental than they're letting on. They're not being honest about their intentions at all. We went viral today, I think, because someone in Michigan was wearing a Wagner PMC t-shirt. They claim the founder of Wagner had SS tattoos. No, he didn't. There's no confirmation whatsoever that was him. They claim Wagner committed this atrocity in Africa. Where's the proof Wagner did that? How does it make sense that Wagner hates black people when the forces they're fighting alongside of are the Malian forces who are black? Tell me how it makes sense. Why would the Malian forces fight alongside people who hate black people? Is Wagner full of perfect people? No, but that's why I respect Wagner. That's why I respect them. All the goodness and righteousness in this world is under the radar. The condemned, the abandoned, the scorned. There are miracles happening there. There are genuine, good, noble, righteous people who fly under the radar because they don't virtue signal, because they're not given the recognition. They say, Wagner's full of Nazis. No, it's not. I visited several battalions with ex-Wagner members in them. And the most common thing that I saw for a person who was affiliated with Wagner is that they love Lenin. They love Lenin. They love Lenin and Stalin and the USSR. Lenin. These hypocrites. These hypocrites. Someone who got 10,000 likes. ACP supports these Nazis. They had a Nazi symbol in their name. The person who made that post. Supporting the Azov battalion. Save me this moralizing. Save me this false moralizing. Rooted in nothing but hypocrisy and filth. And don't think I'm going to believe a single lie about Wagner. As you lie about ACP, why should I believe what you say about Wagner, you bitch? Why should I believe what you say about Wagner when you lie about my movement? As you lie about me, you likely lie about them. Then some say, well, Wagner is a PMC, it's a private military company. And so was Florian Geyer's Knights. They were mercenaries, and they joined Thomas Munster's rebellion. You hypocrite. You Pharisee and hypocrite. What leg do you have to stand on in this fallen, depraved world of ours? Where is your island of moral purity? Where is your refuge of judgment you can look down on others from? What makes you better than anyone in this world? Do you live in socialism? You call yourself a socialist. So your DSA meeting qualifies you to look down on this world? How fallen and wrong it is? Well, you're in that world, in its deepest, lowest pit. And there's nothing about you that makes you better than anyone or anything. You critique capitalism, but you are capitalism. The capitalism is within you. You are capitalism. There's nothing about you separate from the capitalism. Nothing. Your DSA meeting, it's not a refuge from capitalism. You haven't made a fortress. You haven't built an island for yourself, isolated from the capitalism of the world. You live, you breathe the capitalism yourself. You hypocrite. There's nothing about a Western leftist that makes them superior to anyone. I saw a disgusting, filthy EU leftist try to cancel someone who joined our party. They support the Israeli Communist Party. They support Israeli organizations, and they try to cancel people in our ranks. You filthy kafir! You filthy kafir scum! How dare you sit in your fucking Europe, in your EU, thinking you're superior to the world? These EU leftists, with their European human rights and democracy, looking down upon the world as though they live in an island of superiority and moral virtue. Europe is not superior to anyone. They're not more advanced. They're not more progressive than anyone. I'm a leftist. I live in the social democratic European Union, and I just want to be more left wing. You live in Satan's abode, like the rest of us. You're not better than anyone because you're European. We Europeans take so much for granted. We take for granted our human rights for granted. We don't even debate about it. We're so superior. You are filth. You are a hypocrite. All your human rights come from the blood of Africa. All of it. All your progressivism. All of it is built on the skulls, on the blood of the Africans. All of it. And you dare fucking look down on us with your false sense of superiority and arrogance. As though you're the civilized one and we're the savages. We in America, we're the savages and they're the civilized ones. They confuse. They confuse for civilization passivity. Being passive doesn't make you more civilized. It just makes you more of a coward. I don't need to be angry at Europe. God is angry with Europe. And that's why blackouts are coming. That's why blackouts are coming, and that's why misfortune is ahead for the European Union. They believe they're the gatekeepers and monopolizers of Marxism. Shadow, what's up? Because Marx was from Europe. But had Marx's legacy been entrusted to Europe and to Europe alone, it would have been forgotten a century ago. And that's what they forget. Had Europe alone been entrusted with the legacy of Marx, Marx would have been wiped off from the face of history. I'll tell you what I think is happening with the ACP. All this gibber about the ACP. I think they're at a breaking point. They are right at the breaking point. Right at the breaking point. Why do you think these people are attacking ACP multiple times a day? Because they feel like they've defeated us? No. You only attack such things every single day that you still feel intimidated by or threatened by. They will give in. They will surrender. Whatever worm of doubt we've planted in their heads, they're struggling with it. And they're reaching their breaking point. As long as you do not let them define you, don't let them define you. They will break and join us. And they are breaking. And they're reaching the tipping point before what? Before we enter and penetrate the mainstream. And that's what's happening. They are being besieged by us. Internally besieged. And they're fighting a bloody war with us while we're relaxing and barely lifting a finger. Because the thing that they're fighting is their own doubts. To push them and push them, you need to keep showing. There's multiple things that have provoked this. One of them is the women's event we did in Florida. Suddenly, all of their presumptions about us get shattered. And then someone prominent from leftist Twitter was revealed, or something, that they're with us. And they're shocked. Oh, how shocked they would be to know the amount of sympathizers in their ranks. Oh, how shocked they would be to know just how many people in their ranks sympathize privately and support us. How shocked and surprised they would be to know this. Their walls are breaking. Their walls are being breached. And soon those walls will be annihilated. 2 years into the ACP. And I've never been more sure of anything in the world. There is no way forward except this way. There is nothing else but us. All of the sects, all of the splinters, all they do is copy us. And beyond us, you have DSA. And you understand the paradox. How can you maintain your purity fetish against the ACP, but excuse it for the DSA, who aligns themselves with the genocidal Democratic Party? What is worse than genocide? What guilt by association could be worse? They say ACP is bad because Jackson and Haas talked to X, Y, and Z, and they praised X, Y, and Z person. Okay. DSA voted for Kamala Harris, who had the blood of Gazan children on her hands. What is worse than that? They complain that we talked to Jake Shields. Who has Jake Shields killed? Who has he killed? What children has he slaughtered? What is worse by virtue? Guilt by association. Meaning, if they were to hold others to the same standard they hold to us, that means anyone, not only anyone who endorses Kamala is canceled, but anyone who tolerates or is friendly with anyone who's in the DSA or anyone who's ever sympathized with Kamala Harris, even 2 degrees of separation, even if you are friends with someone who's friends with someone, even if you're just friends with someone who's friends with someone who's friends with someone who endorsed Kamala Harris, by the same logic, they're tainted and you have to cancel them. This embargo against the ACP is breaking. It's breaking. It's not going to last. You can't have it last when simultaneously the messy DSA defines you. It doesn't work anymore. It's not morally consistent. Anyone who's pro-ACP needs to be canceled because guilt by association. And why? Because ACP is guilty by association because Jackson talked to a guy who's bad news. Okay. But DSA directly endorses Kamala or directly encourages by proxy their people to vote for genocidal Democrats. Okay. And that's not guilty? That's not guilt by association. That's a more direct line. Imagine if we had the same relationship to Trump that DSA had to the Democratic Party. Who is guilty and who is not guilty? You tell me. What's guilt by association? We made Trump memes during a time where Trump was not in power. But DSA was affiliated with the Biden administration during a time when Biden was in power. How can the embargo against the American Communist Party hold when this is who's in their ranks? Where's the morality? Where's the consistency? Who's canceling what? Some bitch in Europe? Some bitch in Europe is going to sit here and dictate American political organizations and canceling this and that person? Fuck off, you bitch! Worry about your own nation plundering and exploiting and persecuting the people of Africa. You filth and you swine! How dare you fucking raise your tongue against the American Communist Party from Europe! All of your social democratic welfare, you're free this, you're free that. Blood is on your hands. Blood! Someone lives in fucking Latvia. Estonia has a problem with us. I heard one of these people say once, they said, the Western left is superior to China, unironically, because the Western left protested for Palestine, but China didn't fully cancel diplomatic ties to the Zionist entity. They said the Western left is superior to China because at least they protested. Who aided the resistance? Iran. How could Iran aid the resistance without China's alternative economic world order? How could Iran have done it? How could all of the alternative sources of sovereignty in the world exist without China and China's alternative economic world order? How is it possible? Tell me. Are you doing it? No. You're protesting. Okay, keep protesting. It means nothing to me that you protest. Protest. That means you're complaining loudly on the street against your government. But are you organizing effectively? Are you becoming leaders of your people and the masses? Are you doing anything to be viable contenders for the future of your nation? You're doing nothing. You're protesting, okay. What are you actually doing to build power? Nothing. You're virtue signaling loudly about how superior you are morally. What have you done for Palestine? If you cared even 1% about Palestine, 1% about Palestine, you would become effective leaders of the people in your nation, or at least try. But instead, you congratulate yourself for being a leftist, like anyone gives a fuck. As if it means anything. Zoran Mamdani just recently released a video. He loudly denounces Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Okay. Should we clap or what? What's the result? What materially will happen? Anything? Okay. This makes them superior to China, who is doing something because they're protesting loudly. Okay. China is making it possible for people to challenge the entire US-led world order. The premise of being able to do that. You want to know what I consider the primary contradiction for our movement and for the entire left wing? The smallness and pettiness within, which everyone needs to evaluate authentically and honestly. You need to meditate and you need to reflect on what you're here for, just like I do. You need to continuously struggle and struggle and struggle with yourself and with this world. If you're going to turn a principle or an ideology as a cross upon which you crucify the stranger within yourself or within others, then abandon it. Abandon it. If you're going to use an ideology as blackmail with which to torture another human being, abandon it. Let us all be free from the debts, from the wages of idols, of ideologies. Let's be free to simply accept the truth. In good faith. I'm gonna open TikTok soon. Every single one of the lies about the ACP can be traced to 2 to 5 individuals. Really, you really they all of them, every single one. The stuff about Jackson, all of it, it's tracing to 2 to 5 individuals, if you can believe it. All of whom have some history in this movement. These people think by making such lies prolific, they've achieved a victory. How can you achieve a victory when you've abandoned all of your principles? Your own principles. You began with some position. Your entire position has been thrown away. You've defeated yourself. You've conquered nothing. You've defiled yourself and you sold yourself out. And there's nothing left of you except a small, petty, what? Ego, individual. There's nothing. There's no ideology. There's no principle. There's no cause. It's just what? Your petty self? Is that victory? How vain. How pathetic. Of course, anyone can be a. What revenge is that? How can you affect revenge against one who's only here for principle? Imagine if I quit and I started making millions of dollars, which I can, by the way. Maybe not millions, but at least a few 100,000 a year, probably. So imagine if I just disappear and I start making so much money and I have so much wealth and all this stuff. So where's the revenge? You want to destroy me? Or do you want to destroy a principle? Well, if you've already sold out on all the principles you originally claimed to have, who are you defeating but yourself? You think I need to be here because what? Because I'm motivated like you? I want to be loved and validated socially by strangers I'll never meet? 5 years of isolated meditation. That's the price of this. The story of Plato's cave is well known. You're in the cave and you seek out the real reality. You escape the cave and you go out into the world. But in a world of false light, the task is to enter the cave and be delivered and witness and confront the black light, the darkness, the luminous black. And most people would rather die than do that. They couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle escaping this pettiness, this smallness of this world where you seek vain recognition and encouragement and feedback and all these things that don't matter. People are terrified of that cave because they can't be alone. But if you don't go into the cave and meditate for 5 years in isolation from the world, you're not ready for this. I need to explain to you the Illuminationist philosophy, because you don't have that context. You don't have the context of the hierarchy of lights and the idea of light and the prism by which creation reflects the creator. The meaning of all the various different colors and what colors, so on and so on and so on, what colors mean. More or less, this is a kind of information-based ontology. Color represents information. That's all you really need to know. Luminous black is the final stage before the Emerald Hill, And this is the stage associated with Jesus, right? Where you confront what's called the light of lights, okay? So Plato has a notion that you cannot look at the sun without going blind. The sun is the allegory of the sun, the form of forms. All the forms in the world are sustained by the good, or partake in the good in some kind of way. Just as all of the things you see in daylight partake in the light of the sun. That's the only reason they're there, right? So that's the allegory of the sun. And the form of forms is what it is. It's the form of form itself, and that's the sun. And that's not itself a form. You can't stare at the sun without going blind, right? So the idea of the light of lights follows a similar logic. The light of lights does not appear as a light. The light of lights actually appears black. It's a total darkness. It seems like a total absence. But it's a void pregnant with presence. That's why it's called luminous black. Because although it's complete blackness and darkness, and it's a void, out of this emerges presence. Do you understand? It's not simply a nothingness. It's more like It's more like the Higgs boson field, that physicists talk about, the Higgs field, which can never be at it's just always at a non-zero state, to use an allegory, or maybe it's not an allegory, maybe it's just directly the truth. And so by analogy, on social media, most people have not confronted, they haven't achieved any kind of transcendence that frees them from this prison psychologically. They haven't encountered the light of lights. They haven't encountered this solitude, this emptiness, this darkness, which is all of this is just a kind of emanation of that. And they're still coping, searching for something within, and there's nothing within. There's nothing. Within this space, I mean, And they're because they're confusing two different things. They're confusing the dimension of principle and faith and a cause and an ideology with their pettiness, with their ego, with their selfhood, with their smallness, with their psychopathology. Only after you experience some kind of annihilation of this small self are you mature enough to be here. Straight up. Go ahead, user.
Hello, Hazaldin. How are you on this day? You are good today?
Not good.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not bad
The
either.
other day, I came to your stream and you said the official position of ACP is Spider-Man is no good.
Yes.
And I just speak to Midwestern Mark. His name is Eddie. And he say official position of ACP is Tobey Maguire is best Spider-Man. And I would like to say this proves the ACP is potentially fraudulent.
No, it's not fraudulent. It's just a deep division within.
Oh, do you think this will cause a factional split, or is there internal stability?
Guaranteed. It's just guaranteed to happen.
Okay. I also have I have written a theme song for you all. You may purchase it from me if you like. It goes like this. So usually is with guitar, but I have no guitar, so my guitar is bang bang bang. So it goes. Okay, I will begin. Bang 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 bang, Midwestern Mark. Bang 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 bang, Hazaldin. Bang 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 bang, ACP. Bang 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 for you and me. Bang bang bang. And I am willing to sell to ACP for $400 if you're interested.
Oh, only 400. Wow. Well, we need a music video at minimum. We need a music video.
No, I don't do that.
Well, you should. AI can make one. You need to make a music video.
No, is song or is nothing.
Well, I'll have to say no.
That's a shame. I hope you change your mind. And
$100.
I wish
Let's maybe $100. How about we go for $100 to get the copyright?
we can go in the middle of 400 and 100 and say 450.
I'm thinking $75 for us to have the copyright on that song.
No. See, this is when people say the communists cannot do economy.
150 or nothing. 150 or nothing.
No, I refuse.
150 or nothing.
I refuse.
What can I say? Tried to do business. Didn't work. Go ahead.
1 second, please. Oh, I need green screen. Almost. I need to find the. Hi. Here we go. Okay. So the problem with communism is it will actually lead directly into fascism because it will bring spiritual crisis, in which case there is no other option but reaction. The reaction comes from modernity fully encroaching over the spirit.
What does that mean?
So essentially, there is a constant struggle in modernity for modernity to completely overtake the absolute spirit.
What is modernity? What is that?
It features many things.
No. Define it. Make it simple. What is it? What's
Mass
the essence?
mass
No,
capitalism,
that's not
mass
enough.
industry. No. Okay,
What is it
okay.
then?
I
What's the
understand.
essence of modernity? Explain it.
Mass industry,
No. Wrong.
circulation.
Not an essence. These are features, but they're not. It's not the essence. So what's the essence of modernity? Since you've thought about this.
Are you going to say logos?
No. What is it?
Oh. I know it by its characteristics. I feel
Yeah.
that
Then you
allows me
don't
to
know
understand
it.
it.
Then you don't know it.
Well, what matters is we
I
are now in
understand
the period.
you're trying to mock me or Dugan or something, but you
No,
don't even know what you're
this is
talking about. You don't even know what you're talking about. What is modernity? Can you explain what modernity is? Ambiance. If you're not even able to mock me on this topic, then how can you mock me if you don't even know what my position is? Bring the rabbit. Fascinating. That's really bottom of the barrel content. Should we just be resigned to the the lowest bottom of the barrel content? Is that what it should be? Okay, I guess we're just gonna bring the rabbit then. Dugan's multiplicity of Dasein or Heidegger's singular Dasein? Neither. Bunny, go ahead.
Yo, hello.
Yeah.
You know what, Haas? I've evolved. You know, I'm the hero of dialectics.
Oh, this
now.
is the bunny. The bunny is.
I'm the hero.
Guys, this guy is like not an adult. Okay, I mean, like that's not an adult. That's not the rabbit. The rabbit is something different. The rabbit is true philosophy. That's literally like a child or something. The rabbit after the lecture you gave is awful. No, it's not, because if you can't laugh at this world, you're not a true Sufi. A true Sufi laughs at this world and laughs with the world. If you don't have a sense of humor, you can't be a Sufi, okay? The Sayyid was laughing all the time. Khamenei was laughing all the time. Literally laughing, telling jokes all the time. That's the way of the sage. That's the Sufi way. The Sufi way is not to be self-important and serious all the time. Now you're defining modernity as utilitarianism. No, it's not. I know you went to ask ChatGPT, what does What does Dugan think of modernity? Well, Dugan, by proxy via Heidegger, regards modernity as, so you're just trying to use AI. It's just nonsense. So much hubbub and outrage about the ACP, but like, what are we talking about here? Why is it impossible for me to be confronted? Like, why is it impossible? Fear, but fear of what? If they fear this within themselves, that they're wrong, why be wrong? Why have this fear of the self? What's the point of this fear of selfhood? Okay, I guess we just will bring the troll on. The brilliant troll. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Be at least thankful I prepared the green screen for you. Anyways, so the reason that that communism would go back into fascism is because of spiritual crisis. The reaction comes from spiritual crisis exclusively. The problem of the programmatists of World War II was attempting to will the reaction into existence and programmatize fascism.
What is spirit?
The absolute spirit is the.
No. What is spirit? When you're using words like
Spirit?
spiritual, what does that mean?
I derive it from Hegel.
Okay.
Yes.
So communists will have a spiritual crisis in the sense of the Hegel spirit, a crisis.
Modernity will consume everything and it will engulf the spirit, in which case there is no other logical option than the reaction.
If Hegel's spirit is real, how can it be engulfed by something called modernity? That doesn't make any sense. Just purely just gibber babble.
Spiritual crisis.
You're not even
the
doing
material
this mockery
attempts
thing. You're not
to
doing
know.
it's not you don't know enough to do this. Like, I get that you're trying to mock my position somehow, but you don't even know enough about. You don't have enough education to even know where I could possibly be coming from in any of the positions I subscribe to. Just like these vagaries about, just the vibes. The vibes feel this way. Like, why are you even trying to talk to me? SSR, go ahead. Go ahead. Nothing.
Hello.
What?
Hey. So, I just wanted to ask, you said that communism is Islam. Why do you think that?
Because it is.
How?
Why wouldn't it be?
In what way is it Islam?
Islam means completion and overcoming alienation. The literal root word of Islam derives from the overcoming of an alienation or an incompleteness or a
It's
contradiction.
submission, isn't it?
No, not really. It's not even what it means. Like, it's not what it means at all. It doesn't even evoke that. It means a wholeness with respect to a prior state of incompletion and division.
How is dialectical materialism anyway comparable to Islam?
Because Marx comprehended communism as the resolution of all alienation.
All right. Coming from a Muslim family, I don't just see any way that how Islam can anyway be.
Don't care. You already lost me there. I don't care where your family came from. Islam is here. It's now. Or it's nothing. Your family, that's ethnic. You're just an ethnic ideologist. I hate Lukács. Don't talk to me about Lukács. Canoe, go ahead.
Yo, how you doing, bro?
As I am.
Okay, so I got a question. What would
15
you
seconds.
like? What would you advise somebody who is gamble addicted?
What?
What would you advise to somebody when he is like gamble addicted?
Gambling?
Yeah.
Cut your losses now. Stop. And accept defeat. Surrender and accept defeat.
Mm.
Now.
Like.
Right
Yeah,
now.
I know.
No, right now, look in the mirror and say you lost.
Okay.
Accept defeat and surrender. Right now. You lost,
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
right.
over.
You're right.
The battle's over. You lost it.
Yeah, you're right.
And be reborn, because your battle is lost, and you lost.
All right, I got another question. Thank you for
Doesn't matter
that.
what you are. Be reborn.
Okay. And the thing on your head, from which ethnicity is that? Looks
People who
Central Asian.
people who have transcended ethnicities.
It looks like Central Asian.
No.
Oh, it's look like the Kapak.
No. Tartarians gifted to me. They came from beneath the earth, and they gifted it to me. Thinks I was joking. MK, go ahead.
Neo-libertarian philanthropism. Neo-libertarian philanthropism. Neo-libertarian philanthropism.
I didn't even kick them out. They just left. All right, debate's over. It's just not possible anymore. Why are you tagging Red Inquisitor? Everyone in the Discord is. This is what y'all are doing right now? What is this about in Discord? Since you guys are having such a great time, get in show queue, whatever this is, and explain it. And then you have to explain why you're gibbering about this in front of everyone. Explain in front of everyone what you're gibbering about and why it's important. If you won't do this, you're banned. I'm banning everyone I just saw. I'm banning every single person who's distracted by this, whatever this nonsense is. I have no idea what it is. If they're not, I'm literally gonna 25 seconds to get in VC. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, tag all the people guilty of the gibber. I'm going to ban them all right now. Tag every single one. Whoever's gibbering, tag them right now. I'm banning them right now. This is them. All right. Their name is R. Are you happy you're getting banned right now? Because you are. Goodbye. Oh, here they are. From the top, explain everything. Unmute yourself!
I forgot you were live.
No, from the top, explain everything that's been so riveting. That's been so exciting. That's been happening. If you can't, you're getting banned. 5, 4, 3.
All right, I accept my fate. I accept my fate.
Here we go. Ban. There we go. Banned. All right, bring the others. The queer. It's also the Queercraft guy. Same guy, Queercraft. And he changed his name somehow. Same guy. I don't even know what he's doing. I don't even know what was going on. I don't even know what the hubbub is about. But now we have to figure it out together. I'm scrolling up and I'm reading everything myself. Fucking so stupid. Okay, Chen is getting banned. Like, I'm done. Chen is getting banned. Stupid as hell. We have a hero of infrared. Bro, Inquisitor, I don't give a fuck about the name, about the whatever. Nobody cares about that. We're moved on. You know when they say communism can't work because of human nature? Nobody proves that more than people on American social media. This is the truth. I'm not even kidding. When they say communism can't work because of human nature, because people are too like petty and small, it's straight up very true for America in a lot of ways right now. Like, it's just straight up true. I can't wait for mass blackouts to happen across the country. Can't wait for mass blackouts, the internet to collapse. That's what I think needs to happen at this point. All right, guys, I'll see you Thursday. See you guys. Or tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.